out-of-court settlement seems unlikely on the Nkandla affair, and the DA and EFF confirming they intend going ahead with Tuesday's Constitutional Court hearing into the powers of the Public Protector. The Office of the Public Protector had expressed interest in continuing with the Nkandla Constitutional Court case. Thuli Madonsela's lawyers have said this would depend on the decisions by the main litigants, those are the EFF and the DA. Both parties have now confirmed they intend going ahead. The court has given parties until close of business today to try and reach agreement after President Jacob Zuma offered to pay back some of the money for upgrades to his private home in Nkandla. The new Age and ANN7 have meanwhile expressed their dissatisfaction at EFF leader Julius Malema's utterances and threats yesterday. Editor-in-chief of both the new Age and ANN7, Moegsien Williams, compared Malema's words to those he used during an outburst aimed at BBC journalists back in 2010. Williams says all freedom-loving Democrats in South Africa should condemn the leader of the EFF for his utterances and threats against the staff of the New Age and TV channel ANN7. On Thursday, Malema warned the Gupta-owned media such as ANN7 and the New Age they would not be welcome at his party's events and the Guptas must leave the country. Well, for more on this, we're going to speak to Moegsien Williams, who is at the New Age SABC Business Briefing. Peter is there and he'll have a conversation with him. Peter.
Leanne, thanks very much indeed. Yeah, we're in Sandton today, just north of Johannesburg, and we do have Moegsien Williams, who's the editor of the New Age now, just to get his thoughts on some of the comments that were made by the EFF leader Julius Malema yesterday. Moegsien, thanks very much for joining us. So yesterday it was meant to be about the EFF's response to the president's proposal, and during the course of that it came up, the association with the Guptas, and then it sounded like a threat to people that worked for your publication and your television station. Can we get just some thoughts about what you heard and your feelings?
Well, you know, it was a very, very implied threat for a party leader, a member of parliament himself, to say, you know, that you cannot guarantee the safety of the reporters of ANN7 and the New Age is completely unacceptable. Mr. Malema has been known for his bombastic kind of statements and you know, over-the-top remarks about things in life. But this one is going beyond the boundaries of what is acceptable in a society like ours, where you know, freedom of expression is a very, very important value in our constitution. For him to say, okay, that we're not going to allow any of our reporters at any of the EFF events. Firstly, secondly, that he cannot guarantee the safety of our people. You know, amounts to a threat of violence.
He did say when he was pushed on this that we mean this peacefully. Is that not a retraction?
Peacefully, you know, semantics. It's you know, the worry one would have. You know, we have seen an increasing level of intimidation and violence against journalists in our country. You know, we have seen journalists being manhandled. He's sending a signal to the members of the EFF. I'm not even speaking about us attending an organized event of the EFF. What if our reporters are seen by EFF members somewhere and you know, they seem to think that the commander-in-chief has given them the green light to intimidate and worse, you know, commit acts of violence against our reporters. That's the seriousness of what he said.
What would you like Mr. Malema to do?
Well, I think Mr. Malema sits with two, what I would call legal constitutional problems. One is a MP who was sworn in at Parliament to uphold the Constitution. And for him to flagrantly kind of breached Article 16 of the Bill of Rights by kind of impeding the freedom of speech and the flow of communication is a contravention, number one. Secondly, his party and candidates will be contesting the upcoming local government elections, and the problem that he will face then is that he's going to have to sign a code of conduct, the Independent Electoral Commission's code of conduct. One of the clauses says that candidates and parties are expected to speak out against incitement to violence and attacks on, among others, other parties, the IEC, and it very, very specifically mentions the media. So I think he's probably going to have to withdraw his remarks when he signs that document.
And all of this came up because he accused the Guptas, the New Age, of being party to corruption. Your reaction to that, and will we see maybe even legal action taken against him?
Well, you know, you must see the Gupta family as a kind of a separate entity. They are shareholders, and they are taking steps to counter the slandering and defamation that is happening in our country at the moment. Just kind of people just going completely mad with defaming people. In terms of the family and the newspaper and the TV channel, they are shareholders with a lot of other shareholders. He was trying to make the point that we are a propaganda tool for. I've been in journalism now for 35 years. I've never had this experience where shareholders like the Guptas absolutely refuse to give us any guidance or any interference in our editorial content. We are completely, sometimes we ask them for advice, they're even too afraid to give advice on what we should be looking at, out of fear that it will be seen as interference. They are squeaky clean when it comes to non-interference in the content and policy decisions of our news channel and the newspaper.
All right, I want you to put on your SANEF hat now, and just in bigger terms, in terms of journalism and journalists being allowed to do what they need to do, your thoughts about parties and people saying that you're not allowed to come to our events. Do you think that they have a right to do that?
Well, I don't think they have a right to do that. Obviously, it's their event. The big worry for me as editor-in-chief and with staff who report to me and other editors would be their safety. It's of paramount importance. I've always had the principle that there's no story important enough that will amount to endangering the safety of my reporters and in ANN7's case, the TV crew. So we will be very careful. We have to be very careful. I would like him to withdraw the implied threat of violence, and send a message to the members of the EFF, that this is not on, but it's as a member of Parliament and as a party that at least got 6% of the electorate support in the last election, one would expect, he would be interested in making sure that there's a proper debate taking place, an exchange of views, and of course the media and journalists play a very, very important role in getting views and opinions across, so that the electorate can make up their own minds. Trying to curtail that or trying to put limitations on the work of journalists is a very sad day, and I don't think any political party should be encouraging that. To the opposite, they should be promoting a free exchange of information and debate.
And that's where we're going to leave it. Moegsien Williams, the editor at the New Age, thank you very much for your thoughts and your time. Okay, we're going to hand back to the studio in Johannesburg, and we'll catch you a little bit later on when we focus on the world of mining.